After snapping my arm at football practice, I sat in silence as my mom drove us home. She called her friend and laughed. "He's a burden. I wish he'd never been born. If he wasn't around, I'd finally be happy. I could have married someone successful instead of being stuck with his useless dad." Her friend snorted. "He'll end up a pathetic failure just like him." I used my unbroken arm to pack my things and disappeared that night. For years later, she won't stop calling saying she made a mistake. So I guess this is one of those stories that's been sitting in my head for too long, and now I'm just dumping it here. Because honestly, I don't even know what to do with it anymore. If you want to judge me, go ahead, but I need to get this off my just. So yeah, it started with something small, like super random. I noticed my mom's car had this weird smell that day, like she sprayed a cheap perfume to cover up the dog or something. But it just mixed together and made it worse. I don't even know why I remembered that, but it stuck anyway. It was Thursday and I was at football practice after not even a game, just regular drill. I'd been fighting with my mom that week over nothing, like stupid stuff. Her yelling about my grades, acting like my dad was the reason the launch never got mowed on time, whatever. She was always on edge. But it was worse when she saw her friend Brenda the weekend before. I could tell because she'd get extra passive aggressive, like leaving the dishes for me and just saying loud enough for everyone to hear. So yeah, we're doing this tackling drill and I land weird. My arm just snaps like I hear it and I know, crap, that's not right. It's not like in movies. I didn't scream or any. I just sat there and started swearing under my breath while the coach called up. They iced it and called my mom and I kind of just sat there waiting, still in my gear, not even moving my fingers. Cause it felt wrong. She rolls up, doesn't even get out of the car, just hawks I'm holding my arm and try not to look like an idiot while I walk over. She barely looks at me, just goes, "You better not have broken anything, Lorenzo. I have to get to the store," like I did it on purpose or something. On the way home, I'm just quiet. I keep my head against the window watching the traffic. My phone's in my bag so I can't even distract myself. She's driving fast, switching lanes every 2 seconds, sighing. I ask if we're stopping at urgent care. And she snaps, "I don't have time for this right now. We'll see how it is in the morning." I start to say I need to see a doctor, but she cuts me off, says I always exaggerate, and she knows real pain. I don't. I shut up. Then her phone rang. Think she connected to the car, cause she always does that, like she wants everyone to hear her conversation. I hear Brenda's voice. She's got this laugh that always sounds fake. Mom just starts talking over me like I'm not there. I'm not even kidding. I'm right next to her. And she just goes, "You would not believe what my idiot son did. He's a burden. Honestly, I wish he'd never been." She laughs like it's a joke. I feel my jaw clench up, but I just stare out the window. Brenda's like, "He's just like his dad, useless." My mom says, "If he wasn't around, I'd actually be happy. I could have married someone who actually did something with his life instead of being stuck with his useless dad and his deadbeat genes." I'm not even sure I heard it all, like maybe I zoned out for a minute, cause I just remember this weird silence after. And then Brenda starts saying something about how she always knew I'd end up a failure. Mom's laughing like, see, sharing a meme or something, not talking about her own kid in the car with her. I was just sitting there, arm throbbing, and I remember thinking, is this real, like, am I actually hearing this, or am I just pissed off and mishearing? But it kept going. They talked about money. My dad's always behind on bills, how I cost too much with sports in school stuff, how she wishes she could just start over. I didn't say anything. I just sat there watching the stoplights go by, listening. When we pull into the driveway, she hangs up, turns to me and says, "Go get groceries from the back." I'm still in my jersey, arm swollen, and she just acts like nothing's happened. And I get out, open the back, and she's already inside, door slamming behind her. I grab the bags with my good arm, drop one on the walkway because I can't hold them all. And she yells from the kitchen, "Don't be so clumsy." I don't really remember what happened after that in detail. I went to my room, sat down, and just stared at my phone for a while. I texted my dad, but he didn't answer. He works late, always has to pick up extra shifts, cause my mom spends like she's in some reality show. I heard her watching some show in the living room, laughing with my sister like nothing happened. My sister Tiffany is younger than me, and she's always trying to get mom's approval, so she just goes along with whatever. I lay on my bed, arm throbbing, scrolling through random stuff on my phone. But I couldn't focus. I replayed the car ride in my head, trying to convince myself maybe I misunderstood, maybe she was just joking. But like, who even jokes like that? It's not like this was the first time she said something messed up. I remember her getting mad at me over a report card in 8th grade, throwing my backpack at the wall, telling me I'd end up just like my dad if I didn't get it together. She's always blamed him for everything: money, the house, her job, the way her life turned out. She used to tell me about this guy she dated in college, how he's rich, how she could have had a better life if she'd picked him instead. She's obsessed with comparing us to people who have more, like it's some competition. I guess she thought if she made us feel small, she'd feel bigger. Something that night, I tried to sleep on my arm, hurt too much. I heard her and Tiffany arguing over the TV remote, then my mom slamming or two. I got up, went to the bathroom, tried to see if my arm was broken for real, but it was already turning purple and I couldn't move my wrist. I went back to my room, sat at my desk, and just started packing my backpack. I took some clothes, my charger, some cash I'd been saving from Christmas, my old laptop. I didn't even think about it, just kept moving. I grabbed my ID and my phone, left everything else. I didn't even make a plan. I just knew I wasn't going to wake up in that house again. I wrote a note on a sticky, just said, "You got your wish." I left it on her bathroom mirror. I knocked out through the back, slipped out the gate, and just started walking. I didn't even look back. I passed by the neighbor's house, heard their dog barking, and just kept walking. I didn't know where I was going, but I wasn't staying. I wasn't gonna let her keep going like nothing happened. If you want to know what happened next, maybe I'll post again. I'm just tired of acting like this crap is normal. Anyway, update 1. So yeah, I didn't actually plan on doing an update, but I keep getting dimsy and comments asking what happened, so whatever. Here's part 2. I still remember the weirdest thing about that first night was how quiet it was outside, like you could actually hear sprinklers from 3 houses over. I walked for a while, no idea where I was going, just kept check the time on my phone and scrolling through contacts. Almost called my dad, didn't, just wandered, ended up texting Parker because he was the only one who'd ever actually noticed when stuff at home was off. I didn't give him details, just said I needed a place to crash. He sent me an address and said his parents wouldn't care for a night or two. I showed up, he just let me in through the garage, no questions asked. His house always felt different, like people actually talked to each other, that not all fake, not all walking on eggshells. Slept on the old couch in their rec room, used my backpack as a pillow. My arm was killing me, but at least I wasn't listening to my mom yelling at my dad about bills, or Tiffany whining about Wi-Fi speed, or whatever. Parker's little brother came in at like 6 in the morning for cereal, saw me, just shrugged and turned on YouTube. Parker's mom asked what happened. When she saw my arm, I told her I fell at practice. She said I should get it checked out. And when she saw how swollen it was, she just said she was taking me to urgent care. Didn't even ask if my mom knew. The nurse made some comments about how I should have come in the night before, and I just nodded because I didn't want to get into it. They stuck me in a cast and sent me back out. Parker's mom texted my mom, but I guess he never replied, so I just stayed at their place a couple more days. Parker didn't push, but when I told him what my mom said, he didn't even look surprised to be here. The only thing he said was, "That's rough, but you're not going back, right?" I wasn't. I started looking for ways to get out for real. Parker's parents said I could stay a week, maybe 2, but they couldn't keep me forever. I got it, didn't blame the message to my dad, told him I needed to see him alone. He picked me up, didn't ask anything until we were halfway across town. He always drove slow, like he was scared of messing up. I told him what happened in the car that night, word for word. He just stared at the road, didn't say a thing for like 5 minutes. Finally, he goes, "Your mom gets like that sometimes, she doesn't mean it." I told him, no, she meant it. He didn't argue. He never really did. I guess that was the problem. My mom always hated that about him. She'd say stuff like, "Why can't you stand up for yourself? No wonder Lorenzo never listens. You're too soft." My dad's not dumb, just tired. He gave me some cash, said he'd help me find a place, but asked me not to make things harder for Tiffany. I promised I wouldn't drag her into it, so I bounced around a bit, spent a couple weeks at Parker's, then a few days with an old teammate, Aaron, who lived out near the train station. I picked up a few shifts wherever I could, mostly cleaning and moving stuff. Nobody cared if my cat lost was on, as long as I did something. I get my head down, live cheap ramen and gas station sandwiches, that kind of thing. I watch my mom's Facebook. She posted like nothing happened, just pics of Tiffany. A dance post about her strong coffee was dumb stuff. Eventually, my dad said he found a cheap place to rent, just a room, but it was better than nothing. I moved in, paid cash. The guy who owned the place just said don't make noise after midnight and don't smoke inside. And that was it. I finished high school, barely did it online. The showing up at my old school was a no. My mom tried to message a couple times, but she never said sorry, just sent stuff like, "What are you coming home? You're embarrassing. People are asking question." I ignored her. TBA. Yeah, I wasn't even that angry most days, just numb. But then Parker told me my mom was telling people I ran away for attention, that I was lazy, that my dad put ideas in my head. She blamed everyone but herself. She told my grandma I was using drugs, which was just wild. My grandma called me, asked if I was okay. I just said I was fine. And that was it. I got a regular routine, just working, eating, sleeping, repeat. But the thing is, I started hearing from my dad more. He'd call late after my mom went to bed just to check in. I could tell he was getting more tired, but also less scared. He told me my mom was spending more, like way more than before. She started buying random stuff online, signing up for new subscriptions too. About getting a new car, my dad said the bills were getting out of control. He sounded panicked, asked what to do. I said he needed to take care of himself, not her. For once I started helping him with paperwork, like setting up his own bank account, switching stuff over so she couldn't drain his money. I did it all on his phone, showed him how to check his balances out to track spending. My mom got pissed. She found out and slapped my dad during an argument. He told her to stop, but she shoved him and lock yourself in the bedroom. He called me, said he couldn't take it anymore. I told him then don't. He asked if he could stay with me for a bit. I said yeah, but only if he actually wanted to get out, not just hide for a night. He moved in with me. A week later, he started sleeping better, eating better. I watched him actually laugh at dumb YouTube videos again. First time in forever. My mom sent him like 20 texts a day blaming him for everything falling apart. She started calling my grandma, crying about how he abandoned her, how he ruined her life, how I was ungrateful. She told Tiffany it was our fault. She had to sell stuff, that we betrayed her. Tiffany called me, said mom was freaking out, asking why I hated her. I told Tiffany I didn't, but I wasn't going back. My dad started talking about divorce. I didn't push, just said I'd help if he wanted it. He filed. My mom went ballistic, started showing up at my place, banging on the door. I told her to leave. She slapped me. I pushed her hand away, slammed the door. She called the cops once, so my dad stole from her. The cops came, asked questions, but my dad had all his paperwork. They just told her to leave us alone. After that, she started spiraling. She lost her credit, missed car payments, had to sell all stuff online. I saw her post in a local group begging for help with bills. She messaged me again, said I ruined her, that I'd regret it. I didn't answer. I started helping my dad set up his own stuff, making sure he was protected. We cut her off from everything, no accounts, no access to money, nothing. She tried to guilt trip Tiffany, but Tiffany started staying with friends more. I heard from a mutual that Brenda stopped talking to my mom after she asked for money one too many times. I'm not gonna lie, I felt a little satisfaction seeing her finally deal with the mess. All those years of blaming everyone else, it now she had to figure it out alone. My dad started getting his life back. He made new friends, went out more, even got a dog. I kept working, saving up, planning my own next step. My mom sent one last message, said she was going to make me pay. I blocked her. It's wild how fast things can flip when you are actually stand up. I'm not done, not even close. But for the first time, I felt like I was actually winning. If you think I went too far, IDC. She earned every second of it. Let me know if you want to hear what happened when she tried to crawl back. Things got even messier. Finally subdate. So I didn't expect to get this many people invested. NGL, some of you all are wild for the DM, but also Loki, thanks. Causing strangers get it actually makes me feel less crazy about all this anyway. This is the part people kept asking for. So here's what happened after everything blew up and my mom started spiraling. First thing that tipped me off something was up was when my phone started buzzing at like weird hours, 3 a.m. for I'm not right. Random spam, but my mom, she never used to call except to yell at me or demand something, so seeing my phone light up with her number over and over was already weird. I blocked her, unblocked, blocked again, didn't matter. She'd use different numbers, even got Tiffany to call once or twice. At first I ignored it because honestly, what's she gonna say that I haven't heard before? But then Parker sends me a screenshot from our old neighborhood group chat. And it's my mom posting about losing her car, asking if anyone has advice about temporary setbacks. Seeing her like that, actually needing help, almost made me laugh. So yeah, she lost her car cause she missed too many payments in the house was next. My dad had finally gotten smart, stopped covering her bills so she couldn't keep up. I heard from Tiffany that mom had upon a bunch of her jewelry, even tried selling off my old video games like that was going to make a dent. Brenda was gone too. Apparently they got into it over money. Brenda blocked her on everything. And my mom went on Facebook ranting about fake friends. The thing about my mom is she always thought she was too good for everyone around her. Like she got stuck in our town by accident. She'd make these comments about how she deserved more, how she could have had a better life if she hadn't settled. It's like nothing was ever her fault. She'd trash people behind their backs, and then act surprised when nobody wanted to help her. All that caught up to her fast. I'm not even gonna pretend I felt bad. I wanted her to feel it, so I started leaning in any time she tried to go. Guilt trip Tiffany about how her dad abandoned her. I talked to Tiffany and tell her the truth, remind her what actually happened, not a mean way, just facts. My mom started leaving voicemails saying she was sorry, she made a mistake, things got out of hand, she'd switch it up though. One message would be all crying about missing, the next would be angry saying I ruined her life, asking how I could do this to my own mother. I played those voicemails from my dad once, and he actually laughed. He never laughed at her ever. I told him she's just mad, she lost control. He agreed. I never answered any of her calls, but she started texting Tiffany to get to me like your brother needs to call me, I need help, I'm sick. All that Tiffany would screenshot and send them to me. There were one time my mom showed up at my place banging on the door again, yelling that she needed to talk. I opened the door, told her to leave. She tried to push past me. I blocked her. She slapped me harder than last time, but I didn't move. I said, "You're not coming in." She screamed that I owed her, that I was her son, that he made a mistake, but I just told her, "You said you wished I was never born." She tried to deny it, obviously. I repeated word for word. She started crying, saying she was stressed. I misunderstood. She didn't mean. I told her you meant it. She slammed the door on her way out. After that, she started calling my dad non-stop, trying to get him to come back. He ignored her. She threatened to take him to court for money, but she had nothing on him. He had his own accounts, his own place, everything legit. Our family started catching on. My grandma stopped sending her money, said she needed to figure things out herself. She'd show up at family stuff sometimes, but nobody wanted drama, so she'd end up sitting in the corner scrolling on her phone, pretending she didn't care. I made it clear to everyone I wasn't talking to her, not until she actually owned up, which was never going to happen. The only one I really cared about was Tiffany, and by now she was old enough to stay with friends or with dad, so mom's guilt trips weren't working. I even helped dad get full custody, not because he wanted to hurt my mom, but Tiffany asked for my mom, lost it when she found out, called screaming, said we were destroying her life. I told her, "You did that, you're so self." She blocked me after that. But unblock games continued for months. I started getting messages from random numbers like, "Your mother is worried about you. You should color." But it was obvious it was just her trying to cover up her voice, or using some new number. I ignored everyone. She started going to church more, posting inspirational quotes like she was the victim. TBHIG as muted her everywhere. But she kept calling. Even now, for years later, she'll still leave a voicemail every few weeks, half apology, half threat, sometimes just crying, sometimes blaming me. I don't answer. My dad's good now, actually happy for the first time. Tiffany's doing our own thing, barely talk to mom. My mom's in some rundown apartment working 2 temp jobs, not a clue how to manage bills. Brenda's out of her life. The house has gone, car's gone, all our old friends gone. She wanted to be free of us, have a better life. Well, she got it. No drama, no forgiveness arc, no coming back. I made sure she lost everything she used to hold over. She keeps calling. I just let it ring. I'm good with that.